Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the pack, the TheWolfeCraze. We got a lot to go over today. All right. I know it's been a while since last we did a patch update. 1.3.7. We're kind of further ahead than that at this point, and I'm going to very quickly go through these. Now, the more recent patch updates are the most important ones, so I'm going to go over those with more detail. These other ones I'm going to go over very quickly. It's not going to be your traditional go over each bullet point and kind of explain the thought process behind some of this. No. I'm going to speed through a lot of these. You can see them over here on the screen. We're going to go to a bigger screen, and we're going to talk about these a little bit and see where the progression has been since 1.3.7. All right, so let's get back on track here. We last talked about patch 1.3.7. If you guys don't know which one I'm talking about, go back to the video. You'll see it. It's right here on my YouTube channel. Definitely want to check it out every single time I put one out, but it's been a while. So let's go for patch 1.3.8. So here on patch 1.3.8, what we have is the main feature of the patch is an improved weapon control system for the Quest and Pico. Players can now remove either hand from the weapon to grab interactable items such as grenades and a magazine. You can switch hands and shoot by either dropping the weapon and picking it up with the other hand, using a force grab, which is kind of like, literally the force, or you could throw it in the air and catch it with your other hand. So this was the patch that brought to us the free hands patch. Essentially, you can let go of the weapon. You don't have to hold on to it. You could drop it. Plus, also when you die, your character drops the weapon as well. Now, you can't pick them up as the opponent or as a teammate. You can't do that yet. It's something that has been discussed. We might see it down the line in the future. We also have enhanced in the in-game leaderboard. This is now broken down per game mode. This is when the leaderboard was like right before this patch. It was just the straight leaderboard, KDR, experience, yada yada yada. Now it's by game mode: TDM, hardpoint, search and destroy, and zombies and free for all. So you could click on one of those tabs and see where you stand against all the other players in the game. All right, so with the full patch notes, here are some of the features that we're looking at. Okay, added ability to release primary hand from the weapon. We talked about that. Added ability to drop weapon. New main menu leaderboard. Added friend list to private matches. Fixed player chevrons. Fixed red green dots getting stuck on mini map. That was an issue where the red dots and green dots, it kind of was confusing. You couldn't really tell who was who and like who was an actual enemy and who wasn't. Removed minimap visibility in hardpoint settings menu. Added revives to appear end of match reward screen. So now with the revives and search and destroy, you now get points towards that. And so getting revives is important, but of course, be careful when doing so. For maps, out of map bug fixes in town, factory, dojo, monastery, and retreat. With the patch, there were some issues, so those were fixed. Kill streaks getting stuck inside rocks in the house, that was also fixed. They were getting stuck on the crane on high-rise, and they fixed the TDM spawns in pit, because in pit, the issue at this point in time, there were a lot of issues with people spawning super close to each other, so they added way more spawn points. The general fixes include assist points. They were not working on TDM and hardpoint. They are now, obviously. Fixed character arms not moving after respawning on SMD. Reduce game size and loading times, which gets you in the game faster, so that's always greatly appreciated. Search and destroy revives now get experience. Added ability to invite friends in private lobbies. The menu system has been expanded, so it's a lot easier to invite people when you've already created a room. General fix the ladder teleport bug in dojo. We've seen this in the past where you would start climbing the ladder, you'd hop off, you run somewhere else, and then when you go to jump again, you teleport right back to the ladder. That's no longer an issue. That hasn't been an issue in the more recent patches either. This seems to be the last time it has happened. For the weapons, they fixed the red dot reticle intermittently not working, which occasionally happened on some maps, especially when you got close to one of those tight angles. They also fixed the ability to shoot through walls with certain weapons, so you were able to force the weapon through like the glass or a door or a wall or something like that, and you were able to shoot through. So that was also fixed. There's a perk, the overload perk. There was a fix to this for breaking loadouts when used with the Hurricane. It was very bizarre, very weird combination where if you equipped overload, the overload perk with the Hurricane specifically, for some reason it would break the loadout. And various quality of life bug fixes. Now, this is also when they talked about the VR2, PSVR 2. It's already out, and we've been running on it, so we'll get to that in a moment. All right, now that we got 1.3.8 out of the way, let's talk about 1.3.9. So this patch was supposed to get all the existing platforms ready for the PSVR 2, ensuring that crossplay could happen with the addition of the PSVR 2. Steam is on the way, but it's not released yet. This was specific for the PSVR 2, having launched and getting it obviously on the platform and crossplay ready. Features include the ability to mute your own microphone in-game now, so you don't have to actually go into some sort of hardware like the Oculus or the Pico or the PSVR 1 or 2. You don't have to go into the system itself and mute the in-game system. No, in the game itself, there is a mute function. There's also headphone functions, which allows you to actually mute everybody in the lobby simultaneously. So those are now available. For weapons and equipment, added customizable offsets, so every single weapon has its own offset. Or you could apply the same offset to all the weapons. It's up to you. You can set a different offset for the handgun as you would a different offset for the rifle, or if you want the same offset for both, you have the option to do that as well. Fix guns and magazines gliding with incorrect parts of the environment. This just caused some jittering and some issues. Fix the bazooka outline not displaying correctly. Fix hands disappearing when using full auto rifle controls if you respawn before a dropped gun disappears. The bayonet deals no damage if owner is dead. In other words, when you killed someone and you ran over their weapon, you would get hurt by the bayonet. Momentum for auto undocked magazines. The button press, essentially there was a momentum issue, so they fixed that. S&D bomb not colliding with the environment, so the S&D bomb would just literally go through anything, and people were planting in areas that you shouldn't be able to. Fix stock magazine on rifle disappearing after toggling full auto controls while using dual wield weapons. Fix the crash after changing to full auto controls then dying. And fix ability to fire dropped weapons after dying on full auto controls. So there were a lot of issues with full auto controls. Very quickly though, they fixed that. So no more issues there. As for the UI, we saw a mini map, kill streak, and grenade icons show while empty hand or holding the S&D bomb. Friendly names and chevrons visible at all times while dead. Fix zombie wall shops not updating prompt until you re-enter its proximity. And settings tab added to private match lobby so that you can customize the lobby with inside the private lobby, in addition to setting it up before you even open the lobby itself. So a lot of nice UI updates here in 1.3.9. So general fixes include the following: reduce time limit on hardpoint match. Before, the hardpoint match would go for a really long time and people would actually win by points overall. Now this actually reduces the time by, I believe it was 2 minutes, from 5 to 3 minutes. And now there's a greater chance that the time will run out before you actually get to the max number of points that you can earn in hardpoint, really forcing the objective and making the objective a lot more critical for teams to actually capture. Whereas before it was like, well, you know, if we're really far ahead, we're really close to 200, we could back off, let time run out or whatever. Most people didn't really do that, but sometimes you did, and you really don't want to always win by points. Sometimes you just, like the cap points, sometimes you just want to win by time. So it really shakes things up a little bit. Improve startup sequence. Backrooms in Sanatorium are only activated if all levers are pulled by different people. This is related to people having the ability to access the back rooms with only 2 or 3 people. I don't know how they did that. They were like, well, we moved really fast. And I'm like, yeah, you can move really fast, but like there's one that was around the corner. So like, how did you do that? Which is 2 people. I don't know. It's very strange, but people were able to do it apparently. But now each lever has to be pulled by a separate person. So now it requires 4 people in total. There's a fix to the full walk speed after being revived on back rooms. Improve zombie explosive ragdoll textures, which is always nice, seeing more ragdoll textures and stuff, and like ragdoll physics being added to the game improves its realism and immersiveness. Fixed zombie projectile ball getting stuck mid-air, which did happen a lot. We no longer see that, which is nice. Fixed teleporting to a ladder when jumping after respawning when you die near it. So this one was related to not just getting off of the ladder, but this was more specific to when you died while on the ladder. As soon as you respawn, you hit the jump button, you teleport right to the ladder. That was a problem. Fix dying from fall damage on search and destroy, taking you to the last spawn location, and disabled the ability to open the settings via controller button press on private match lobby. So that was 1.3.9. You can see with every patch comes a lot of fixes, a lot of updates. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so we're almost to the most recent patch update, which happened this month in October, so it wasn't that long ago. Let's start at the beginning of the month, October 1st, when patch 1.4.0 were released. This patch included a quest-specific update, PlayStation VR 2 specific update, and general fixes. We'll start with the quest, which included Bluetooth and voice permissions are not required to play the game on Quest. So some applications require these permissions, but Alvo will no longer require Quest users to provide access. PlayStation VR 2 specific updates includes a fixed error causing a black-white screen on PlayStation 5. Yes, this happened. I don't know the details behind this, but it was pretty disruptive, so good on them for fixing it. General fixes include a scenario causing low frame rate on private matches. There are areas in certain maps, or even just in the private lobbies themselves, that resulted in frame rate slowing down. Now, what happens when frame rates slow down? People tend to get a little nauseous because when you're planning on running in real life, it's not like when you run in real life, frames drop and all of a sudden you're stuttering. When you're trying to be immersed and your brain is interpreting you in the virtual space as actually being there, frame rate drops can cause some motion sickness and some other issues, which might be a little bit more serious in nature. So fixing frame rate issues, very important, very critical for everybody's health and safety. Social output screen perspective takes dominant eye position. So if you are right eye dominant or left eye dominant, now the social screen that comes up on the television will come from that perspective. Fortunately, they were able to put into the algorithm a recognition of which eye is recognized as dominant in the game and project that appropriately on the screen. So anyone watching, or if you're a streamer like myself, it will capture the appropriate eye, so you can actually look down sights and see where the person is actually looking. They fixed missing roof collider on high rise, which is always nice. Fixed flashing white edges appearing in certain parts of industrial. Fixed pressing mute all followed by mute own mic would unmute everyone. So there was an issue when you would mute everybody and mute yourself, and there was also a delay when trying to unmute yourself to the point where like you couldn't be heard until like 5 seconds later or the next round started. It was very strange. They were able to replicate it and fix it, so good on them. It was actually a relatively quick fix. It took less than a week to actually figure out and correct. So the team has been miraculous in getting these updates out. Add mute mic, mute all buttons on end of match. So now on end of match, you have the option to mute yourself and mute everybody. The fixed mute mic button not appearing as muted when reloading the game after muting yourself, and reduced some of the UI displayed in the S&D spectator camera. So when you die in this, there's the cameras in Search and Destroy. There are the cameras strewn about every single map. The UI display in the S&D has been reduced in size, whereas before it was ginormous and you couldn't really see everything that was going on. So good on for that fix. Now, let's get to the most recent update. All right, the most recent update is related to the Halloween update. We had this last season, and it was really exciting because a lot of really cool things were happening. They had a brand new lobby screen. So when you enter the game and you go to your main lobby screen, it had a brand new scenario. You're outside sanatorium. It was decorated to fit the Halloween theme. It was beautiful. They brought that back and recreated it with higher fidelity, and they also changed the UI. We'll get into that in a moment, and I'm going to show you probably some clips as I talk about it when we get to it here in this breakdown. But they have done so much. This was a huge update, and although it doesn't seem like they brought a lot of content, there was a lot of quality of life updates for this, so I'm excited to go over it. So as they did with last year during Halloween, they brought back the need to collect 100 candies to obtain a brand new item. In this case, the brand new item this year is a new gun skin or new weapon skin. I don't want to say gun skin because this skin could actually be applied to any weapon. This includes melee weapons like knives, machetes, to pistols, and to rifles. Now it's a custom made skin. It looks very nice, and I really love how it's Halloween themed, but it still looks really nice. It's a very clean look, and everybody has really enjoyed it so far. But what's even better is last season I had neglected my PlayStation account, and I never got Mr. Jack-O-Lantern. Jack-O-Lantern is a character skin with a pumpkin head and a scarecrow body, and I got it for my Quest, but I never got it for my PlayStation account. So I thought all hope was lost now that I'm on the PSVR 2 rather than my Quest. Well, they brought it back. And once you get the 100 candies, not only do you get the new weapon skins, but you also get the new avatar. You get Mr. Jack-O-Lantern. I am so happy, and I was able to get Mr. Jack-O-Lantern this time around for my PlayStation account, and I was able to also get the gun skins or weapon skins, and they look fantastic. And with all the visual upgrades, or at least the enhancements that they have made so far, I'm really excited, and they look really clean. Get out there, get those 100 candies. The more important thing to note is with getting these 100 candies, you have to kill actual players. You cannot kill the bots. The bots will not drop candy. So get into regular lobby matches, get some eliminations, and pick up those candies. You will get it. You got plenty of time. So, but don't delay. All right, full patch notes. Let's go over it. Feature: the Halloween event was added. Event completion reward: unlock character and new skin for each weapon. Private match spectator slot is now open, but just know that this is like a first version. It's not going to be a final version. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and we're going to be testing it out even further now, especially with the league having taken place. Not the league, but actually a tournament taking place. We tested it out. It seemed like there might have been an issue with having a full lobby and a spectator. We're going to test it out, see if we can replicate it. It could have just been that night, and it could have been issues with connecting to the server. Not entirely sure. But know that if you hop into a spectator, into the spectator mode in private lobby, know that you might run into some issues at this point. But I tried it out with a few people in the lobby, and it worked great. It doesn't really give you that overlay yet. It's literally just a fly around camera. Hop in there, test it out. Just open up a private lobby of bots and hit spectator mode, and then hit play and give it a shot. Check it out and see how you like the controls. Be sure to give feedback in the Discord. They also added the mute, mic, and deafen buttons to your player card on the main menu. So now you could just do it from the main menu. PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 can play together when crossplay is disabled. Technically, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 are different platforms, and there was an issue with both the PSVR 1 and PSVR 2 not able to play together when crossplay is off. So when crossplay is off, now it is recognized that PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 can play together. So the PSVR 1 players and PSVR 2 players can now play together when the crossplay is off. This is something that people had asked for, and they did it real quick. It's just a wonderful thing to accommodate, and you don't really see a lot of developers doing that. So good on OutsideIn Entertainment. Now, one of the cleanest parts of this update, and I say clean because it really is clean, is the UI. They took so much time to change the, I don't want to say bland, but the relatively updated but still not super modern menu system that was black and white or red and white. It looked nice, but it wasn't like modern. Well, they took that whole menu system and revamped it. I don't know how to explain it, so I'm going to show it here on screen. It just looks beautiful with the headers of every single box with some sort of smoke animation floating behind it, the blacks and grays and the variation of them, and then the neon lights that surround the menus that you can change, by the way. If you go into the settings, go to UI, there's a skin option there. You have the traditional orange for Alvo, then you have zombie, which would be red, and bubblegum, which is oddly titled, for the blue. And I typically stick with the blue, but you could change it to your liking, and who knows, maybe more will come out in the future. But it's a beautiful new look for the game, and it makes it feel more modern. I'm loving it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So just moving along with the UI, there's a reskin with improved UI throughout the whole game with the option to personalize the color scheme, which was the skin in the UI section of the settings. AI names do not start with bot anymore, so you'll know if you die from a bot because the kill feed will say bot and then the name, but on the scoreboard itself, it won't say parentheses bot and then the name. It will just give you the bot name. Daily XP and patch notes panels consider if you are party leader when closing them. An increased clarity of pit image at map voting. Apparently that was a little fuzzy. When you go into a private lobby now as well, there's a little crown on whoever the lobby host is, which is really cool. So it's much more easy to identify who is running the lobby at that time. As for the weapons, there's increased recoil when not grabbing a gun with both hands by 30%. So all those who are running around just running and gunning with one hand, that is not going to be a thing you can really pull off now with this patch coming out. This excludes the PlayStation VR Move controllers because, I mean, there's already a lot of, I don't want to say limitations, but challenges associated with the Move controllers. So if you're still using the Move controllers on the PSVR 1, this will not affect you. They also fixed the grenade throwing distance on PSVR 2. For some reason, despite the arch showing correctly, the grenade would drop probably about 5 to 6 feet behind where you thought you were throwing it, so you'd always throw it short. This has easily been fixed, so kudos to them for doing that. They also fixed the sticky grenade in third person. So if it would stick to a wall, let's say take tunnel entrance to town, for example, I saw a sticky grenade land right on that wall, but here's the edge of the wall and here's a sticky grenade floating like maybe a foot out from it. This has been fixed, so hopefully there is no more visual bugs, but if you do see any, please report it in the Discord. And they also had a general fix for weapon switching with trigger. I guess some people had issues with that. I personally didn't experience it, but if you had difficulties with it, it's fixed. Some more general fixes include a fix a scenario on Search and Destroy where the round win was awarded to the wrong team. This actually happened a lot, especially in the league, and it also happened a couple times in the tournament, but it shouldn't happen now. And one of the reasons being is because now Search and Destroy requires the attacking team to plant, regardless if they eliminate the entire defensive team. When you eliminate the entire defensive team, if you have more than 45 seconds on the clock, so let's say you eliminate the entire team and there's a minute and a half left, well, that time is going to drop to 45 seconds and you have to get to the plant site and plant. So there's no more errors with who is going to win, because in a trade at the end, either the defense team will win or the bomb plant by the attacking team is what's going to determine if the attacking team wins. So very good change. It's a very welcome change, and it's actually brought a lot of interest to Search and Destroy, a little bit more than it was before. There's a fix to the click sound playing upon loading the main menu, small fix. They fixed the ability to spam sending player reports. There's an optimization to improve load times and reduce bundle size. In other words, the file size of the entire game has been condensed a little bit more, so it's not taking up nearly as much space as it was before, and it's also faster to load in. And this is true. It's super fast to load in. That's one thing that's great about Alvo, is that it doesn't let you sit and wait. It just loads you right in as quickly as possible, whether it's into the main lobby or into a match when it finds a match for you. So, the faster you can get in to the fight, the better. They fixed frame rate drops when clicking the mute and deafen button too fast. Good thing that people were testing that out, because when you click it too fast, it would cause frame drops. So if you accidentally hit it and click it again, and you're like, wait, hold on a second, you keep clicking it, you won't experience that. It was most noticeable on the PlayStation platform. So if you are a PlayStation VR user, you won't experience that anymore. They also fixed players unmuting after using the mute mic function, which was, again, weird issues with the mute system, but it seems like they've got it sorted. I was just playing today and there were no issues with it. Fixed the pointer not updating position when choosing left hand in the tutorial. Fixed friendsless context menu not working on certain maps on private lobbies. Fixed visible car on house night, quest only. Since I don't play quest anymore, I'm not entirely sure what that was about. They fixed bullets not passing through stairs on hangar and monastery. So what this is in reference to is the steel stairs that actually have space between them, visual space between them. There was a collider there which didn't allow bullets to pass through. So it would hit the stairs in that space between the steps as if it were hitting the stairs itself. That has been fixed. So now on monastery and on hangar, if you find those steps, you can actually shoot through them now. They fixed an industrial crashing on the PlayStation VR. For the time, they actually took industrial out of this the circuit of possible maps you could choose from, and they recently put it back in. So all's good. And you can play Industrial again, which I'm really excited for because I absolutely love that map. They fix players falling through the floor when revived under an object. Sometimes this might happen on factory. It might happen in other areas where you might be close to a vehicle and maybe your head is just sticking like right underneath the vehicle. You get revived and it pushes you through the floor. This doesn't seem to happen anymore. They fix rotation and position wrong on end of match and recentering not working as expected. So at the end of match, sometimes the end of match menu would be off just a little bit, and you would go to recenter and it wouldn't recenter properly. The recentering should be the center panel, but sometimes it wouldn't recenter there. So they fixed that as well, and I can concur that that actually is fixed. They fixed getting stuck under a table on house, so you could get under the table, but you can never get back out. It was a death table. They fixed that, and they fixed radar kill streak continuing to play at end of match, which we saw happen with a couple of things like the C4 and what have you. So good that they fixed that. And here you can see the lovely skin for Mr. Jack-O-Lantern. So this is more so an enhanced version of Mr. Jack-O-Lantern. I can almost guarantee this might be what he looks like with the new visual enhancements coming in on the roadmap very, very soon. Really cool looking skin, but just expect that you're going to stand out and probably die. Okay, last thing I want to talk about is not so much of a patch, but the roadmap. And I feel like this is important for everybody to know because I'm looking on Reddit and I'm looking on YouTube comments and stuff. And a lot of people are saying, hey, where's this? Where's this? You said about this and you said about that. There was a roadmap that was announced. And I want to go over these items real quick just so everybody understands. The first 2 months post PSVR 2 release, which we are only 1 month out from when it actually released, this is what they were willing to work on, or said is probably going to release within the first 2 months. Increased resolution versions of current maps. This will include better real-time lighting for dynamic objects, including characters and weapons. 1 new map, spectator cam for private matches, UI upgrade, new particle effects, and Steam VR beta modding system integration to create new maps for all HMDs. So this is more just getting the system ready to accept modding. So it's a beta modding system. That doesn't mean you can do it right now because it's not released on Steam VR, but they're looking on getting it prepped. Now, what have they actually ticked off here? They've ticked off the UI upgrade. They've ticked off the spectator cam. And pretty much what is left is a new particle effects and a new map and increased resolution versions of the map. What I really want to point out here very specifically are the enhanced visuals of the maps. Please keep in mind there are currently 17 maps. That's including the day and night. So like you got town day, town night, monastery day, monastery night. There's 17 maps in total that require enhancements. In addition to this, they have 2 new maps kind of sitting in the lurks. So they have to make sure that those can accommodate the enhanced version and also the downgraded version for the more standalone products. With these upgrades, it's going to include new textures. So it's not just visual enhancements to the existing maps and textures. No, they actually added a few new textures that will accommodate higher resolution. And these new textures have to be applied to the old maps as well. So for example, if you go into the green hall on town, the floor there is going to have a new texture, and that is going to have to be applied to the existing maps at a lower resolution. So it takes some time, but they have been dialing away at it, and I believe they're going to make it on time within this 1 to 2 month period. So keep your fingers crossed and your eyes peeled. This one's an exciting one. As for the new particle effects, I'm not entirely sure what that's going to include, but I'm excited to see what happens. So keep your eyes peeled for that one as well. Now we're looking at 3 to 4 months out. We're looking at getting the other map that I'm sure these 2 new apps, the one in 1 2 month range and 1 3 to 4 month range. I believe these are the 2 maps that I've helped work on. So we're going to get one in the 1 to 2 month range. So hopefully soon. And in the 3 to 4 month range, we're going to get a new map. There's also going to be a social lobby and a shooting range. They're pretty much going to be one and the same. The Steam VR version is going to release. We're going to get 2 new weapons, 1 new throwable item, and 1 new character. That new character, I have no idea. Not a clue. Haven't seen it. No idea. but we can expect that. And 4 to 8 months out, we're going to get a new zombie map. So for all those who love the zombies mode in Alvo, you're going to get a new zombie map. We're going to get new tactical equipment, addition of mod maps, and addition of maps in development by the team. So whatever maps are being developed and whatever maps are being made by the mods, those are going to be added in as well. But you can see this is about a whole year's plan of content that they are going to update. This means that they are not letting this game die. This game is going to continue to thrive, and people have been enjoying it quite a lot, especially with some other titles maybe not performing nearly as well as expected on launch. And it's just a completely different game. It's faster, it's more arcadey, and I think people are finally starting to see the value in Alvo, which makes me happy because I think it's a long overdue appreciation. But here's the roadmap. Please take this in consideration, especially when you're leaving your comments on various social media platforms. And that's just going to be it for this patch update. We went over a whole bunch of them. I went over in more specificity the more recent patch, the 1.4.1, which included the Halloween update. Hopefully you guys enjoy. If you haven't gotten in yet, consider getting in there. Get the 100 candies. You got till November 14th to actually collect them all. It won't take you more than maybe 1 or 2 sessions to collect them. Get in there, get the skins, get the new character, have fun with it, and enjoy the Halloween event. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next patch update. Till then, peace.